Good.
Now then, let's get some ages out here. King Charles is now 75, and his son and heir, William, is 41. So at some point, do you think that Charles should step aside and let his son take over? The Queen of Denmark shocked the world when she announced her abdication for leaving the throne to her son.
Yeah, and she is
83.
Yeah, exactly. So should our king follow suit? Journalist and royal commentator Afua Hagan says there should be an age limit for monarchs, and that should be set at 80. Royal commentator Richard Fitzwilliams thinks an age cap would be discriminatory. Afua, that means that you think the Queen should not have gone on to 96? Heresy.
Our Queen was incredible in her lifetime of service. 70 years on the throne, died on the throne at 96 years old, was working, you know, up in 2 days before her death. Yeah. And she did an incredible job. You absolutely cannot take that away from her.
That undermines your argument.
But I think it would have been great for her in later life to be able to rest, to be able to enjoy those last years of her life without the responsibilities of being that monarch. You had King Charles, as he is now, Prince Charles, as he was then, the heir for the longest serving heir for such a long time, for, you know, 30, 40 years. I think it would have been good probably to capitalise on him, bring him in.
Do you think
when
he's
he was
too
younger.
old then? Is that your issue? Because if the Queen was doing a wonderful job up until 96, your argument isn't with her, is it?
No, not at all. I think that the monarchy needs modernisation. And I'm by no way saying that older people can't see, you know, things that need to be modernised, but I think bringing in a younger monarch, a younger king in King William would help the monarchy move towards the modernisation it needs to survive.
The cap of 80 that you've said, it's just completely arbitrary, isn't it? Because if you think about it, I mean, Prince Charles at the moment, at 75, is super fit, he's extremely well, he's hale and hearty, his brain is as sharp as ever, and there's no reason to think that in 5 years' time he'll have changed much.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I just think there needs to be some sort of cut-off point. It could be 75, it could be 80, it could be 85, it could be 90. But I think the monarchy, and this goes, you know, I think it could be something that could be brought in for world leaders as well. You know, perhaps there is a time, like Joe Biden, like Trump, perhaps there is a time where you need to be able to hand over power to younger people to take that forward. There was a survey, a poll that went out last year, and 37% of those people surveyed thought that Prince William would be better to step up to king rather than Prince Charles.
Richard Fitzwilliams, you are younger than the king.
Yes, I am indeed. Now, you're not going to put me out to grass, say I'm not for resuscitation, are you?
Well, what do you think? Wouldn't you rather get on with it when you're a little bit younger, if you're going to take on a big job like King of England?
Well, ideally, perhaps I would, but the thing with a monarchy is what is its purpose? The continuity, the stability, national unity, experience. Now, this was actually about a cap. Now, that cap, as I understand it, would be legally binding. You've got a cornucopia of horrors there, not only in courts if it was challenged. Think of the politicians as applied to you, mentioned politicians, but also, what about in the individual making the choice? Look at the Netherlands, for example, because remember, there's a real problem on the question of King Charles, and that is, we are the last country to have a coronation in Europe, and you're anointed by God.
What are your thoughts on William, then? I mean, as we said, William's 41 now. If his dad lives, say, to be as old as the Queen before he pops his clogs, then William's going to be in his early 60s.
Yes, I know.
It's a heck of a long time to wait to inherit the throne, isn't it?
It's a long time to wait, but then this is the way monarchy works. At least you know who's going to inherit the throne. And the other thing, of course, is that if you look at the late Queen, and Afua paid beautiful tribute to her, I totally agree. At 85, that's when she visited Ireland, and that it was considered by many to be the high point of her reign. Indeed, there was an Irish return visit, including Sinn Féin, which had opposed the visit.
That's a very good point, isn't it? 85, and she was doing great work, not just you know, tap dancing her way through, but doing really important work.
Doing incredible work, but any monarch could do incredible work. Any monarch that was on the throne at that time could equally do that work. I think it's
Didn't it matter more that it was the Queen? With all respect to Charles, didn't Queen carry a bit more heft?
I think when it comes to the Queen and the royal family, a lot of people see the Queen completely differently from the rest of the royal family. There's a certain affinity for Queen Elizabeth II that doesn't carry through to the rest of the royal family. She was almost an exception to the rule. And now that she's not here anymore, perhaps we need to have these rules so that we can modernise this monarchy. It desperately needs it.
On the business of modernisation, because someone is in advanced years, incidentally, a role model for those of advanced years is tremendously important. People are wanting others to work till they're older. To force a monarch to abdicate would be sending the wrong messages. I say it simply wouldn't be legally sustainable. Indeed, you'd have the upper house of a lot of countries more or less denuded. But the problem surely is King Charles would only have a few years on the throne. And I mean, this too would be unfair. You could say he's the longest-serving Prince of Wales in history. That's absolutely true. But look at what he did. 20 charities, including the Prince's, now the King's Trust, helping 1 million people of young and disadvantaged. So you've got tremendous advantage in the monarchy and the way it tends to evolve, and so often it's left to the individual.
Well, let's hear what our viewers think, because we've got the poll results in.
Yeah, it's almost evenly split. Should King Charles step aside for Prince William? Well, almost half of you think yes. Thank you very much indeed to our guests. A happy new year and welcome back to you.